You know, just trying to do what I got to do. That's about it.
I think this is like our last welcome to the call. A week this week.
Welcome to the call. Hello? It's now 12 o'clock. Actually, 12:01 Eastern Standard Time. Good afternoon, those on the East Coast. Good morning, those on the West Coast. We usually kick our call off around 12:05. Give everybody enough time to start chiming into the call. If it's your first time on the call, we're here every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're simply building the greatest community of people developing the mindset to win. Because no matter what your circumstance is, we all have to be in the right mental state to deal with it all. No matter the circumstance, it's our mental capacity that's actually going to get us through the circumstance, that's going to get us over the circumstance, and that's going to allow us to learn from the circumstance. We all got different circumstances. Each morning we wake up with something different. Some of us are dealing with physical disabilities. Some of us are dealing with mental disabilities. Some of us are dealing with financial disabilities. Some of us have different circumstances. But the one thing we have in common is that we all have to be in the right mental state to deal with it all. So that's what our mission is. That's what the mission is, to build the greatest community of people developing the mindset to win. And we're going to be here every single Monday through Friday, whether it's myself, my partner Julian, or anybody else that decides to come on this call and deliver value to you guys, so that when you walk away from this call, something on the inside is going to stir up and be like, you know what, I'm going to take some action today to change my life. I'm going to take some action today to change my circumstance. I'm going to take some action today to get more results in my business. I'm going to take action today to fix my relationships. I'm going to take action today to climb the corporate ladder. I'm going to take action today to move forward and get my education. So whatever it is that you want to do, just understand that that thing that we have in common is our mental capacity. For the past couple of weeks, we've been working on the book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. This book has pretty much been crafting all of us into better leaders. The different material that we've been reading in the book has been helping us to raise our leadership lid, right? Build bigger visions. So many different things we've been learning, and today we're going to learn the law of the buy-in, which is chapter 14, the law of the buy-in. If you don't have the book, you can get the book from mindsettowin.com. That's mindsettowin.com. We're getting down to 12:03. We're going to get started in about 2 more minutes and get things rolling. But I'm glad everybody chimed in early. Thank you for getting on the call early. And some of you get on the call and start having conversations, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a dope community of people who just want to go out there and get the job done, be positive as much as they possibly can. And, you know, we know that it's hard to be positive 24/7 with so many different things attacking you in life. We know it's hard to be positive at every moment. But when you start to read the right material and hang around with the right people, you won't stay upset for long. You won't stay sad for long, because you will understand that the circumstances was supposed to happen. I was supposed to learn from this. So learn from the situation and grow. We're all about growing. None of us are ever going to be perfect, but as long as we constantly focus on growing and getting better, right, to becoming better people, becoming better entrepreneurs, becoming better friends, becoming better spouses, becoming better bosses, becoming better leaders, as long as we focus on being better, everything will turn around in your life consistently. Success will come easily and frequently when we focus on being better, growing stronger, right? Growing stronger, growing wiser. And when you can do it as a group, a movement of people that's moving together in the same direction, it makes things a whole lot easier, because now you can say, hey, my friend, I empathize with you. Not that I sympathize with you. I empathize with you because I've been there, right? When you got a group of people you can lock arms and talk things like that about with, it makes life so much easier. So we're at 12:05, and at 12:05 we start our road call. So when I state my name and where I'm calling from, I expect you to state your name and where you're calling from. Let us know that you're out there. Be the leaders that you are. Step forward and let the world know that you're on the call. So this is Mike Williams calling from Long Island, New York.
Becky McCall from Ontario.
Oh, yeah.
You're from the Bronx.
Jermaine Daniel from Brooklyn, New York.
This is New York.
Nice. All right. That's cool. Cool stuff. Everybody calling in, stating their name, where they're calling from. I love it. as we grow. You know, it's going to be harder and harder to do that, but it's okay. We're going to keep doing it until we, can't do it anymore, because I like the call to be intimate, and, I like to know who out there, who's listening, and, who's taking notes, and just where everybody's calling from. And it's so cool that people calling from New York, and people are calling from, the West Coast, and they're calling from Canada. One night we had someone call in, one afternoon, but it was one night for them. He called in from Singapore. So people are calling from all over the world because we all need this stuff. We all need leadership. We all need motivation. We all need the right mental tools to just deal with it all. And I'm just going to get a shout-out to Julian. Julian, are you out there?
Yeah, I'm here, buddy.
All right, cool deal. All right. Let me see here. So we're doing Chapter 14. We didn't get to connect just yet. So, Jules, I don't know if you want anything to lay down now or later on the call. You just let me know, or I'll just keep it moving.
Yeah, I got some stuff, so, either me or you start, no matter.
All right, cool deal. I'll open up the lines for you, my friend. Now, for those who don't know Julian, Julian is my partner. He's also on this call every single day, Monday through Friday, and we back and forth. We study the different material and bring it to the marketplace for you guys so that, you guys can apply this stuff in your business and your life. Every little thing that we come across, everything we learned, everything we failed at, we try to share it as much as possible with the call so you guys can get this stuff, before you run into those bumps in the walls or, every little tip and trick that we get from the material that we're reading. That's what we do. We bring it to the call, and Julian is my partner, and I'm going to open up the floors for Julian to take it away on Chapter 14, the law of the buy-in, or he might be doing his own thing. You just never know what direction the call's going in every day. All right, so the floor is yours, my friend.
All right, thank you, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate that, Mike. Hey, guys, welcome to the call. We're going to just jump right into it. Law of the buy-in. I actually really like this chapter. It's something, as I was reading through and listening to the audio, it was something that I never really realized and never really thought about with the buy-in. And basically, just to summarize this chapter at a very high level, the law of the buy-in is basically what they're talking about in this chapter is that people buy into the leader first before the vision. And I never really thought about it like that. I know a lot of you probably, and probably like me, myself, I know for me, myself, a lot of times I'm working on crafting the perfect vision, the perfect, paragraph of things to say when somebody asks me about my vision, right? I'm so focused on that. I wasn't really thinking about, from a leadership perspective, why somebody would join me, and they would join me from, they want to follow me, and they don't really care what my vision is, right? I never really thought about it from that perspective, and it's a mistake probably a lot of new leaders make, and so it was really interesting to read this chapter, and as I read this chapter and kind of started blending and piecing together this entire book of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, and reading this chapter, I really started to see how this chapter really ties together a lot of the other chapters that we've read, right? Everything from the law of the picture, which is the last chapter, right, which is living the example, living your vision, the law of the inner circle, right, who you surround yourself with, the law of empowerment, right, lifting up others, right, the law of magnetism, you are who you attract, the law of addition, the value that you add to the community, right, the law of navigation, your ability to lead and steer the ship to bring your followers to the destination, right? These are all qualities of the leadership, and they're all things that tie together in you as a leader, and it's part of the reason why people buy into you, why they want to follow you, why they want to join you and go on this journey of the vision that you have. And it doesn't really matter, like, what that vision is. And, they gave a couple examples in the book, right? They talk about sports and coaches, and that in sports, the goal is, and the vision is always to get to the championship. But in order for the team of the players to get there and to really go after the vision, they have to buy into the leader, right, which is their coach. And if they can't buy into the coach, then the owners of the team, they don't get rid of the players. They get rid of the coach and get a new coach, right? And so I was thinking about that, thinking about how, like, Phil Jackson of the Lakers has been there, and then the coach of the, UCLA and a lot of the other, big coaches. And I was thinking about that, how that is so true, that if your team buys into the coach, right, to the leader, it doesn't really matter what the vision is, If you want to take that a little bit further, and I think even in this book we talked about, Lance Armstrong, right, world famous cyclist, A lot of people follow him, and the regiment that he goes through, and the cycling world and everything. And, he has a big foundation to raise money for cancer. But he could really have any foundation to raise money for, and people would still follow him and follow that, whatever that cause is. I mean, his cause could be like saving, lost puppies, right? And people would still want to follow him because they love following him, the leader, the person that he is, right? It's his lifestyle that he lives. It's his inner circle that he surrounds himself with. It's him empowering other people to live a full life. They buy into that, right? They buy into him. And so I thought this chapter was really awesome. They had a couple great quotes in there. The leader finds the dream and then the people. The people find the leader and then the dream, right? And so when we're talking about this and we're thinking about this stuff, it's so true, right? I mean, you start thinking about people that you follow today, whether it's a famous actor, singer, a famous marketer online, business entrepreneurs, right? A lot of us are entrepreneurs on this call. You start thinking about the people that you follow. Do you follow them because what they're doing is like so great, or do you follow them because they are a great leader or a great example or somebody that you can model because you want to achieve results like them, right? That's the reason why we follow people. That's why we model after people. That's why we model after leaders, right? You start thinking about all our great leaders, whether they're presidents or actors or singers or athletes or business entrepreneurs, right? We follow them because of their characteristic traits, right? And those characteristic traits come from, the law of the picture, magnetism, empowerment, the value that they add to the community, their ability to lead people, right? They're all these character traits that we're all developing ourselves, right? We're developing our mental capacity on this call, and we're doing that, and we're getting all these traits and fine-tuning them and honing them. And that's why people follow you. That's why people want to do the same thing as you. Your vision could be to, whether it's to build an online business or it's to, travel the world. They're cool about what you're doing because of the type of person that you are, your character, right? And so this chapter, I got a lot out of this chapter. And the other quote I want to leave you with, which I thought was really cool, was people don't at first follow worthy causes. They follow worthy leaders. When they follow worthy leaders, when they promote causes, they believe it, right? And I just thought that was really cool because it just echoes the same as before, that people really follow, worthy leaders because of their characteristics, right? And I started thinking about all the people that I follow, and I was like, wow, that's so true. I follow them because of their, the character that they are, maybe the value that they present to the marketplace, or, there's something about them, the person. It's not so much, what business they are in. You start thinking about somebody like, what's the guy? The Virgin Airlines owner guy, right? You start thinking about him. I mean, he's got like 300 businesses, right? You have no idea all the businesses that he owns. But what is attractive about a leader like that is his ability and his entrepreneurship and drive to win and succeed and know all these different businesses and the ins and outs, right? And you can apply those kind of mental mindsets into your own business. That's why you follow somebody like that, So it's really interesting when you look at it from that perspective. I really enjoyed this chapter. It really gave me a different perspective of the way to look at things and why people would actually follow me personally, why somebody would follow Christy, why somebody would follow Mike, why somebody would follow Becky, and looking at the type of people that they attract, looking at integrating all these chapters that we have been reading about and the different types of characteristics or qualities of a leader, right? And so when you tie all these things together, the buy-in really starts tying these chapters together. They don't feel so individual to me personally. And so I really enjoyed this chapter, and I thought it was something that I think everybody on this call could get something out of, just because it gives you, at least for me, it gave me a little more clarity as to why people would follow you. So, hey, Mike, if you're out there, I want to bring you back out. I know you've got a few golden nuggets for the people here. And I want to turn it over to you, brother.
Cool deal. Yeah, the law of the buy-in, I totally agree with you. It definitely brought everything into perspective, all the 13 chapters before it. So I'm pretty excited about the next few chapters to see where everything lands. But definitely the law of the buy-in. The first question I think you should ask yourself every single morning is, why would someone buy into me? Why would someone want to work with me? Why would somebody join me? Why would somebody give me money? Right? I'm going to talk from that perspective because everybody on the call, most people, about 90% of the people on the call are entrepreneurs. They're striving to be entrepreneurs, and you got to ask yourself, why would somebody give me money? Why would they give me a credit card? Why would they cut me a check? What is it about me? Not my product or service, about me. Because when you think about a lot of salesmen, I come from a sales background. I worked at, J.P. Morgan Chase. I came from a collections background as well. I used to be a collector. And when I really think about, all the clients that I spoke to and all the debtors that I spoke to, they didn't give me money because I sold them a system or a reason why. They just simply liked me. I was good on the phones, right? I made them laugh about their debt, or if I sat with somebody in the office and I was selling, doing some banking, and I'm just talking to them about their family and friends, and we're laughing, having a good time, and when I introduced them to something, not sell them something, when I introduced them to something that could possibly help them, it was a lot easier for them to say, you know what, Mike, I'm going to try that out. In most cases, they didn't even need it. But because they liked me so much, they wanted to actually put money into my pocket because they knew I earned a commission from it. So in the book, it says there was ways to build credibility. We're going to talk about these different ways to build credibility. The first thing was the relationship. When I was in banking, that's what it was all about. They even called them, to this day, right, I actually walked into the bank, they actually called them relationship bankers now. Because that was the foundation of sales. I had to build relationships with the people that were coming in and out of the bank. As I built those relationships, I actually got to know them and their kids and this and what they do and all these different things. I got to know them. I built a relationship. So when you're talking to someone who you might consider your friend, even though they might not actually be your friend, but you consider them your friend because you've been asking the right questions and building the necessary relationship, you start to build your credibility. Right? Because I didn't know much, right? The computer knew everything. I didn't know all the answers. I just looked at the computer for the answers. But because the relationship was so tight, it gave me credibility for what I was doing. So that's the first thing you could start doing to build credibility with yourself, with the relationship. Because you might say, Mike, I don't know a lot of things about the business that I just started. I don't know a lot of different people in the industry. I don't think I'm qualified enough to build this huge team because I haven't had much results. But let me tell you something. You don't need much results. You just need to ask the right questions and develop the right relationships. And once those relationships are developed, you can then offer them and share with them your vision, right? Because they will begin to start buying into you. The next thing it talked about being honest and authentic. This is very true. In sales, a lot of people, they look at some of these salesmen and they're like, oh, man, I don't know about that guy. He's kind of shabby. I don't want to talk to him, But when you're building a relationship and asking the right questions, right, through those questions, you're honestly asking them questions and you're earnestly listening to them. You're earnestly listening to them. You're earnestly reaching out to them. See, on the internet, it's a little different because we don't have a lot of face-to-face interaction when we're building businesses. But listen, when somebody asks you a question or you ask them a question and they give them an answer, you better give them a earnest reply. Maybe even make a video. Right? When you're honest about your results, they can actually see through. You can be authentic. They can see through and see who you really are, right? When you're authentic on your social profiles and you're sharing really who you are, you're sharing your story, right? You're being natural. You're being honest. This is who I am. Accept me. And a lot of people can see your growth, right? It's amazing how you look at these social profiles and you can literally see someone's growth over the years. If you go back to 2008 on my profile, that's like, whoa, who is this guy, right? And things have changed throughout the years on my own profile. Like the world is literally watching you grow. It's amazing to me, this whole world of internet marketing, online, the magic of it, the things that we do. And when you're actually honest and authentic to the world, people are attracted to that. They're attracted to you. And when they get attracted to you, you can start building these relationships and developing your credibility. The book then moves on and says, the book moves on and says, hold yourself to high standards, right? And be an example to what people want to be. So if you know that you're a certain type of person, and you know that right now who I am is not going to get me the results I want, and you go into this change, this process of change, right? You're starting to get on the mindset call, you're reading the material, and all of a sudden, the way you think is starting to change. But let me tell you something. When you start to share that change with the marketplace, and they start to see that you're not about lack anymore, that you're not about staying where you are, right? That you're not about being broke and being in poverty anymore, that you're not about wasting the time that you do have on this earth. When they notice that you're not about this stuff anymore and you're starting to share these different things, in the beginning they're going to be like, man, what are you talking weird stuff? But over time, as long as you're consistent with your growth and you're setting the standards and say, I will no longer deal with lack, people will start to see that and become attracted to you. They'll see you honestly trying to change and actually watching your change and your growth, and you will begin to develop relationships with people. The book moves on and says, share tools with other people that will help them get to their goals. Now that right there is a nugget. If you're on the internet and you want to earn multiple streams of income, you share tools. You market tools to help people. And that's how you build relationships. They're going to say, man, thank you so much for this tool you shared with me. I was able to do so much more in such a short period of time. I thank you so much for sharing this tool. You shared the tool, and at the same time, you've earned the commission. I mean, that's the magic of working on the internet. It's a magical thing. We can literally help people and make money doing it by simply sharing tools that will assist them in their business. Man, I'm reading this book. I'm like, wow, he's talking about everything that we do. This is crazy. This is absolutely, it validates everything that you're doing. When you read material like this, it validates being an entrepreneur. It validates building a business, right? It validates being different. It validates striving to be in the top 1%. It validates these things. It validates living the life on your own terms. That's why we got to keep our heads in these types of books and audios, constantly expanding our mental capacities every single day. The book moves on to say, help them achieve their goals. You said, Mike, well, I haven't achieved my goals. That's okay, but let me tell you something. There's something that you've been achieving that they haven't. And when they find that out, because you've been asking the right questions, when they find that out that you have the answer, it could be a small thing, but when they find out you have the answer, you have helped them reach a goal. See, so many people, we think of goals, we think of big goals all the time. Goals can be small too, because we need small goals on the way to the bigger picture. So if you can help somebody with a few small goals, you will start to build as somebody somebody who's necessary, right? Somebody who can definitely assist them in the future. There's somebody that I need to save his number in the Rolodex, right? When you start to assist them. And then the book moves on and says, develop them. Now, when you're in this process of developing yourself and growing mentally and financially, right? Things are starting to grow for you. People are starting to buy into you a little more. And the people that actually are buying into you, right? They're starting to buy into you. These are the people you want to sit down and create strategies with, right? It doesn't have to be anything that you haven't done. Everything that has gotten you a result, everything that you've done that has made you $25, $100, $1,000. Don't know what that strategy is, who don't know how to make $25, who don't know how to make $50, but when you sit there and you strategize exactly what you did to do it, and you teach it to them, and all of a sudden they get a result. They make $25, they make $55. Guess what? They just bought into you, right? They just bought into you. Now they're locking arms with you. You're going to always be their friend. You're going to always be someone they're going to connect with. See, we don't have to show people how to do these tremendous, right? We don't have to show them how to get to the big goal all the time. It's the little things on the way to the goal that's going to be all the difference. going to be all the difference why people are going to start buying into you, why people are going to start buying into your story, right? Why they want to lock arms with you and build business and change lives, change communities in the world, right? When we start to just submerge ourselves into the material, into our work, and every single day we're just working and doing everything we need to do. But like I always mention, the cool thing about the internet is our work doesn't have to be 8 hours a day. Our work can simply be 2 to 3 hours a day if we're doing the right income-producing activities every single day. That's what our work week will consist of, and the rest of the day you're just goofing around on the internet, meeting people, building relationships, connecting with people, right? Working on small things like copywriting and blogging and all these other different things that you want to focus on. And I'm speaking in terms of the internet because I know most people are, 90% of the callers are from the internet. You're trying to build some sort of internet. And I'm telling you right now, where you are is the best place. You're in the right place at the right time. See, back in 2008, I picked up a book called The 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss. One of the best books I've ever read about how to literally have a 4-hour work week. And I was like, man, and I picked it up because I was like, what a title. But I'm reading the material, and I'm like, wow, this makes total sense compared to where the future was going. And it said, the tagline was, what was it? I think it was the new rich. The new rich. The new rich are going to be people that literally learn how to master the internet. Learn how to master tools of automation, right, and deliver products to the marketplace. Guys, right now you are in that movement. You have signed up for something. You are learning something right now at this moment about how to create a business online and do it in an automatic way. You're in the right place. But let me tell you something. In the beginning, you definitely need to focus and keep focusing on those daily activities every single day. And as you focus on those daily activities and you're sharing those daily activities with the marketplace, people are starting to see, that you're serious about this. They're starting to see that you are no longer who you used to be. People will start to buy into you. Not your vision, you. Because what the book says, people buy into the leader before they buy into the vision. Right? So put yourself in that position. Every single day, wake up, say, what are people, why would somebody buy from me? Why would somebody work with me? Why would somebody lock arms with me? What is it about me that people are going to connect with so that I can share my vision with them? In the end of the day, that's what we're doing on this call. We're developing the greatest community of people. We're building the greatest community of people developing the mindset to win. Putting yourself in the right mental state so that every morning you wake up, you feel the gratitude, and you're looking around and you say, you know what, I have this, this, and this to create a goal, to create a result. Let me go out there and do it right now today. I'm not going to procrastinate. I'm not going to waste any time. Right? I only live once, so guess what? I'm going to live this life the best I can possibly live it by doing my work. See, people are scared of the word work, but see, by doing the work and doing the right work, doing the necessary work is going to give you freedom. By doing the work, it's going to give you freedom. Right? See, when you're building something from the ground up, you're building something from the ground up. You got to constantly do your work. See, you can easily go get a job and walk into somebody and they'll tell you what work to do and you'll do it and they'll give you a check at the end of the week. But let me tell you something, my friend, that's not going to buy you freedom in the long run. If you want freedom, you need to start doing your work every single day, doing your work, doing it so well that people actually want to pay you to teach them how to do what you do, how to get the results that you're getting. People will start to buy into you because you're simply doing your work and you're creating your freedom. Right? There's no get-rich-quick here. Right? There's no one-hitter quitters here. If you want this and you want true freedom, you got to work at it every single day. I'm talking to you. Whoever you are on the phone right now, I'm talking to you. Do your work. Don't hesitate to do your work because once you get into the groove of doing your work, people are going to start buying into you. They're going to start buying into your vision. And before you know it, you're going to finally reach freedom. I want you guys to text motivation to 77948. I want you to text motivation to 77948. I want you guys to come back to the call tomorrow. I want you to bring a friend to this call. want you to share this call because we're building the community. We're building the right people with the right mentality to go out there and simply get the job done. So tomorrow when you come back, I want to hear you on roll call. I want to hear the person you got on the call on roll call because it's my goal to close with you. It's my goal to make sure somebody lock arms with you. It's my goal to make sure that people see that you're serious about doing what you're doing. So tomorrow, Thursday, I look forward to hearing your voices. Mike Williams and Julian Tang, we love you. Later.
Have a great one, people.
All right, guys. Take care.